While a massive Galaxy-class starship gets the prestige and resources to chart unknown expanses of the universe, the heavy lifting of granular exploration falls to the unheralded, underpowered Dragonfly-class science vessel, ships like the USS Isotope. These ships face severe restrictions on engine power to accommodate heavy scientific equipment. They are so slow that they often require a tow to their deep space destinations, leaving them unable to return to the safety of a starbase without assistance. This text from the original draft highlights the resulting demographic paradox. Because serving on a deep space science vessel is isolated and highly dangerous, the assignments are filled almost exclusively by desperate young officers straight out of the academy, whose inexperience make them expendable. In this specific sector, we find the Isotope orbiting a Class M planet, an Earth-like world capable of supporting life. Sitting in the command chairs is a remarkably diverse, mismatched bridge crew of untested rookies. To understand how a Starfleet crew survives a catastrophic disaster, we have to look past the uniforms. We have to examine the specific psychological profiles and past academic failures of the unproven officers running the ship. At the top of the hierarchy is Captain Harry Belmont. He is a 40-year veteran whose career stalled decades ago, a man who maintains command through a gentle, fatherly demeanor rather than technical prowess. Captain Harry runs a famously loose ship. Discipline is virtually non-existent, mistakes are easily tolerated, and the overarching culture on the bridge is one of total complacency. This schematic illustrates how that complacency is literally built into the ship's architecture. Notice this choke point tunnel connecting the forward bulb to the rear engines. When the ship folds its wings, this tunnel physically seals off the bridge crew from engineering. Sitting next to the captain is science liaison Bells of Urns. Bells is a member of the UX species, placed on the bridge entirely to satisfy a political integration treaty, completely bypassing standard Starfleet merit requirements. Bells actively loathes the human crew. He harbors an obsession with his own perceived divinity and holds a quiet, secret allegiance to a hostile alien faction known as the Kins. The top of the chain of command is anchored by political compromise and a relaxed attitude. If a true crisis strikes, the ship is completely unmoored. Moving down the ranks, we find communications ensign Mila Chen. She grew up in a harsh, heavily sheltered clan compound on the dwarf planet Orna 4, fleeing to the academy as her only chance at escape. Looking at her academy record here, Mila's brilliant theoretical knowledge completely failed her during her SCAMs. SCAMs are Starfleet Command Assessment Modules, highly stressful, practical leadership simulations. She failed twice, including getting her virtual squad killed, before barely scraping by with a minimum passing score. Beside her is Navigation Ensign Byron Cameron. Byron is the last hope of a long line of Earthborn explorers, carrying a heavy family legacy burdened by intense, misplaced ambition. Byron knows the textbooks backward and forward, but he lacks any practical application skills. Worse, he suffers from a crippling lack of self-confidence in his own decision-making. Rounding out the group is Tactical Officer Rogers. He projects the image of a strict, by-the-book security enforcer, though underneath the uniform, he hides a surprisingly soft and easily manipulated heart. The operational fate of the Isotope rests on the shoulders of unproven officers, defined by legacy pressure and simulation anxiety. They are waiting for a real-world test they are entirely unprepared to take. A sudden collision with a hostile Kins cruiser rocks the Isotope. The impact instantly throws the bridge into complete chaos. Captain Harry is thrown forward and killed instantly against a navigation console. In a fraction of a second, the formal chain of command is completely severed. The ship's architectural design flaw triggers exactly as the schematics predicted. The tunnel collapses, physically trapping the surviving bridge crew with no access to the lower decks. Notice this paragraph from the draft text. Bells uses the chaos to immediately enact his betrayal. He fabricates a fake Uweek funeral ritual to honor the captain, a stalling tactic designed solely to keep the surviving crew trapped for the boarding Kins warriors. The disaster instantly strips away the only stabilizing element of leadership. The crew was left exposed to a rapidly failing ship, a sealed room, and a traitor operating right beside them. Forced into the acting captain's chair, Byron immediately adopts a weak consensus model of leadership. By making every decision a group effort, he dilutes his own responsibility and ensures he has a clear path to delegate blame if the situation falls apart. Mila reacts entirely differently. While she panicked during her academy simulations, the physical threat overrides her anxiety. Her harsh Orna 4 survival instincts take over, and she slams into action to save the ship. Rogers responds by falling back on his strict procedural mindset, immediately organizing the remaining survivors to lock down their physical space and search for an exit. In the ultimate crucible of deep space, an officer's unproven background provides the exact psychological blueprint that dictates how they will lead, break, or survive when the chain of command finally shatters.